Welcome back to The Grind for a war video. Now, I am assigned to Path 6, and every once in a while, I'll get to take on mini bosses, as well as some extra fights between the paths. So this first fight is going to be against Medusa, and in this fight, there is strike back. So every time you throw a special attack, the opponent is going to gain a bar of power. So I just bring in some power control, and in this situation, I brought Dr. Doom for the added buff control with those Furies, so I don't have to worry about the the auto block as much with Medusa. Now this is a 5-star Medusa, so not that challenging, especially since my Dr. Doom is rank 3. So a fairly quick and easy fight. I probably should have just gone to my special 2 on there, and then here I ended up not killing her with that last heavy attack, and for whatever reason I ended up hitting the special button. So we ended up throwing off a special 3 to take that last 1%, which is not ideal. So this next fight is against Darkhawk, and it has Power Focus 1 and Bubble Shield. So he's going to get to special 1s quickly, but then very slowly start gaining power after that. And what I like to do in these fights is to hold block after they get 1 bar of power so that they attack into my block and I can keep hitting into them and give them less power overall. The problem is with Bubble Shield, if you're not comfortable with it, then you can get hit with an unblockable hit. The nice thing about Red Magneto is that when magnetized, the Bubble Shield doesn't always trigger, so you have more time to deal with this. And you can see we're doing so many heavy attacks without him throwing a special attack, and we don't have to bait anything out because he's gaining so much less power now that he's over 1 bar of power. So now I'm doubling my prowesses as I'm getting close to a special 3. And even if Darkhawk does throw a special 1, we are able to dex 3 of the 4 hits and only block 1 of them, so we don't have to take that much damage. And I should have just thrown off the special 3 there, but instead we go for 1 more prowess and throw off that special 3, and it's going to deal obviously massive overkill with that first hit actually taking all his health. And so yes, definitely a massive overkill on that one. So now next we are going to go up the middle, and once it loads and moves along, I think we have a shared fight here in the middle, and it's against Nightcrawler. Now I don't really have an evade counter, but I actually like to use Dr. Doom in certain situations against champions that evade, and also with footloose and kinetic transference, Dr. Doom is nice to have because you can nullify or prevent buffs from triggering, as well as control the power if they do attack into your block. And in addition to that, there's a node that applies an armor break to you if you don't attack for, I think it's 6 seconds, but Dr. Doom is immune to armor break, so don't have to worry about that. So with Dr. Doom against evade matchups, you can do your attacks while they're stunned, and then you can chain on your heavy attack because it will stun them. So you never have to worry about that attack missing. The thing you have to keep in mind is you can't do a proper Doom rotation because a lot of the hits after your special 3 are going to be while the opponent is not stunned. But with these heavy attacks being chained on, we can prevent all the footloose load from doing anything because we'll just be removing the evade and unstoppable buffs. And that way we don't have to worry about it at all. And we're throwing off a special 3 now, but we're going to make sure that we don't let him evade. Now the thing is, with the regular Doom rotation, you're pushing the opponent to a special 3, and that is the problem because if they can evade and have 3 bars of power, they'll counter you. But if you don't let them have 3 bars of power, you don't have to worry about that. You can just do your hits, and then once the passive stun ends, you can then just make sure you're not finishing your attacks. Now next we are going up against a Elsa Bloodstone, and this opponent or the person who placed this opponent, it has suicides on. And ideally, I would like to use a different champion, but because of the fact that Elsa Bloodstone will cause degen, we're going to go in with our mutant, which is Magneto. Now, this is the rage node, so a certain number of damage is going to apply a fury, and once you get 5 furies on the opponent, they're going to be unblockable for the rest of the fight. So you don't want that to happen. Luckily, most of these heavy attacks are not triggering it, but there are going to be some that do. And at a certain point, like that one right there, at a certain point, you want to be careful that you're going to maybe resort to only doing light attacks for a while. Now, I really like to use Dr. Doom on this path or on this node as well, because you can control the Furies and you don't have to worry. There's other champions depending on the opponent on the node that we will use as well. A lot of times people recommend using Human Torch, and in the next war video that I'll be putting out soon, hopefully, we have an Iron Man Infinity War that we use Doom against, and it goes very well. So as you can see now, we're at 2 Furies, and we are building up our power, and the fight is actually almost over already. We're going to throw off a special 2, but unfortunately it doesn't kill her, but it does give her a Fury, which is unfortunate. Another nice thing about this is our heavy attacks are applying a heal block, which is only there temporarily because she can shrug it off, but it does help to tick her down a bit with those suicides active. So not a bad fight, not the fastest fight, but it was fairly safe, and we managed to get it down without losing too much health. And you can see there is still a Storm Pyramid X on that next node. We were out of energy, and unfortunately when I came back I forgot to record it, but we'll see lots of that because I see already it's a frequent placement. We do get to go up against one of the mini bosses, however, and this is Mysterio with Power Focus 1 and Hurtlocker. So if you repeat the same special attack twice, that'll be bad. And then if you, or he'll gain power fast up to 1 bar of power, and then after that he'll start gaining power more slowly, which we already kind of saw on our path, and we're kind of dealing with it in the same way, trying to hit him as many times as possible while he's over 1 bar of power. But here we're baiting out a special attack, and then he gets that reflection, and we're gonna want to wait and not do as much damage while it's active, but 1 heavy attack is not going to kill us. Now we're doubling up our prowesses with the goal to get to 40 when we have 3 bars of power, and so we're holding block, reparrying so that we can do as much hits while he is gaining little power. Now we're throwing off the special 3, and because he is not bleed immune, he's not getting the massive damage from armor breaks, but it does deal decent damage. But he does get a lot of shrapnel bleeds, which deal tons of damage, but the big damage comes after they expire. It's essentially like the same amount of damage in a burst, and it finishes him off. So really not that challenging of a mini boss to go up against. And so I do hope that this was an interesting video. That's all I have for this one. I can't promise war videos for every single war, but if people are interested in, I'll definitely keep making them. We're in tier 3 and usually platinum 3 to 4, so not the top tier war, but hopefully it's still helpful for some players. So let me know what your thoughts are, and I hope to see you in the next video.